So the good news is, the fucking incredible news is, there's nothing to learn. There's nothing to get. There's never more or less. Of course, the bad news is, I won't have it. I have to insist that there's more or less, that there could be more or less, that this isn't all that's possible. So, in a terrible twist of irony, the cosmic joke. You can't have what you're looking for, as it is already. It's so outrageously simple that the one who insists that it can't be this simple simply will not have it. That's why I can't emphasize enough that this is not what you're looking for. Because looking for is something else, and there isn't something else. Not even nothing else. So in a very real way, what we're speaking of isn't anything. But in the seeking, in the looking for, as a human being, all you can do is imagine that you can only imagine something else. And that can feel, it certainly can sound and may feel hopeless. And in the typical use of the word hope, yes, it is hopeless. And yet hopelessness doesn't appear. Because without the need for hope, there is no fear of hopelessness. And so with hope, hopelessness dies. Without the need for hope, there is no fear of hopelessness. In fact, there is none. You could say the same with life must have a meaning and a purpose. There must be a point to all this. I insist, there has to be a fucking point. Otherwise, what's the point? And self really can only hear, all I could hear was the absence of a point or the absence of meaning would render life pointless and meaningless. No. No. Without purpose, without point, without meaning, there is no meaninglessness, no pointlessness, no hopelessness. And so you may ask, so what is in their place of all of that meaning and point? No knowing. It's not replaced by anything. Nothing is ever replaced by anything else. This is forever new, always fresh, always passing away, with no space between. You can't know that. I don't know that. No one knows that. And then life has a simplicity. That to me would have been unimaginable. It just can't be this simple. How can life be this simple? Well, it is. No matter how complex thought makes it appear, or how complicated the story is, how much conflict there is between the stories, how enticing some stories are, how repulsive some stories are, all incredibly simple. Too simple. So knowledge can still happen, knowing still happens, but it's all empty. It doesn't mean anything. And without the meaning that you give or have given to knowledge and understanding, they're liberated. Free. Emptily free. It's all empty. The fullness is completely empty, and the emptiness is completely full. There's no making sense of that. So I always thought that making sense of life, understanding, working it out, would help. It would be worth the effort. It would be worth the pain. It would be worth the blood, sweat, and tears. In the end, it would all be worth it. Well, this is a truly dreadful message in terms of that. This is all undeserved. Your efforts are for absolutely nothing. The undeserving nature, the obviousness that no one gets what they deserve, there is no worthiness required, is the unconditional love. I mean, I bandy that about, just like plenty of other speakers do. But the unconditional is that this is completely undeserved. There's no working towards this. There's no certification. there's no attainment. There's no success. Well, if there's no success, I mean, I can't emphasize how that is the unconditional love. There are no successful human beings. And of course, then there are no failures. And you might still have the idea that there's some human beings who know more about this, what we're speaking of, than others. I have no sense of that at all. There's some that like speaking about it, and some that you like listening to speak about it. That's all. Isn't that beautiful? No one knows more or less about what's being attempted to be spoken. It's obvious. There's nothing to know. Now you can know about cars or cats or quantum mechanics. But about life, life has no requirement of knowledge or understanding. And I say life is just another word for what can't be spoken of. There isn't life as a thing. I used to be quite picky about what words speakers used. I'm much less so, because when the word is just a word, it doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong, there'll still be preference. You will always prefer the words that you prefer. But what can seemingly die is you actually believing that they are superior or closer or clearer, greater clarity. There's no accuracy because you can't hit the target, because the words can never be true. Again, there's great freedom in that. So no one's getting this right, and no one's getting this wrong. No one's even close to getting it right or getting it wrong. How wonderful is that? But while there is the desire, this intense desire that there must be a truth, there must be some human beings who have attained this complete understanding. Then of course there will be, well, all you will be doing is analyzing what anyone says and going, oh yeah, that sounds closer, or that's further away, or he's got some, I think he's almost there, but not quite. Or he's a fucking mile away. And as for her, well, you know what I mean. And what you're left with is just preferences then. So you're like, let's, just as preferences for any human beings. You don't know why you like people and you dislike others. And even if you love them all, which is a possibility, you'll still dislike some and like others. Preference is the most natural thing. So one of the wonderful things about seeing that no one is closer or further away, that there is no absolute truth or absolute reality that could possibly be known, then it can feel like acceptance. It isn't acceptance because none is required, but it may feel like that. An ease, you could say. And the ease that I'm talking about is the ease of liking what's liked and disliking what's disliked. Whereas I worked so hard to like what I disliked because that was noble. You know, I don't even know why I don't like her, but God, I've got no justification for it. You know, this sense of justification. Justification isn't required. This has no need of justification. But I do. You do. Self does. Well, I have to say, I'm thrilled that 45 of you, regardless of my abject cock-ups of putting the wrong date, not telling anyone that the clock's changing, have managed to turn up. So thank you very much. Because I was speaking to Darren at the beginning and before this meeting, saying I have no idea how many will turn up today. So if you've got anything you want to share or ask any questions, then please do so. I've just seen Team Theo Knitting Club, which, I mean, sorry for those of you who weren't in Nashville, but it's an in-joke, but you'll probably get it's quite funny. Put your knitting away. Show some respect. Oh, how rude, Kelly.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, who's that?
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Good to see you.
And you, how are you?
I'm good, I think.
Always a tricky question.
Hey, did you just say that likes and dislikes and preferences don't have any reason? And like the me just wants to justify that?
Yeah, something like that, didn't I?
Yeah.
What about that?
What about that? That is cool. I don't think I've ever heard that.
No?
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a probably underrated cause of anguish for most human beings, is that self says to itself, or thought says to itself, whatever way you want to speak about it, but this sense of what I dislike, you know, especially, I don't know, it depends how you've been conditioned, how you've been brought up. But if you're brought up to be nice, which most of us were, not everyone, but most of us were brought up to be nice, well, it's a terrible curse, because what you do when you dislike something is usually, well, there's only two answers really for self. There's something wrong with them, or there's something wrong with me, because there's nothing wrong with them and I'm finding fault where I shouldn't be finding fault. So I question my dislike because it's not justifiable. It doesn't, I haven't got good reason. So self is fine with dislike, even hatred or loathing, as long as I can justify it to myself. I've got good reason, and then it's okay. But without good reason, I have to, I don't know, I have to beat myself up until I find good reason. So in the end, what self often does, I think, is make up reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no,
Well,
there's no reason for it at all.
that just frees up so much space.
Oh, it's, yeah, how much easier it is. And of course, what's heard, especially in spirituality, there's this myth that I can, in surrender and in acceptance, by working on that, I don't have to dislike anything.
Yeah, right.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck.
I mean, that's torture.
Yeah,
Because
it is.
Because dislike will naturally appear still. And then, of course, I need to work on my acceptance. I need to work on my surrender. And of course, I'm just making myself wrong when there's nothing wrong with disliking.
Okay.
And of course, if disliking isn't a problem, because it's natural and it's not it's not questioned, you know, by question I mean you don't have to look for a reason, or it's obvious that there doesn't need to be a reason. I mean, we don't say, so a dog meets another dog and it gets on like a house on fire with a dog. They've never met before, but you know, they're really happily sniffing each other's asses and having a great time. Then it meets another dog and immediately its heckles go up and it's snarling and it's taken an instant dislike to the dog. It's natural. But of course, we don't like to see ourselves as dogs. We're far superior because we can control our likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
We're in control of those. And yet, it can be obvious that I don't know. Human beings, what self really has done is forgotten that it's an animal. I mean, I don't say forgotten because the animals don't know they're animals. So forgotten is not the right word, but what I mean is we've made ourselves gods, haven't we? That's what self has done. By gods, I mean we're masters of our own destiny. Well, even the whole idea that we have a destiny. I mean, a dog's not thinking about his destiny, I'm pretty sure. I don't know that. But if you ask a dog and he could tell you, I don't think he's ever considered his destiny. Of course, what this does is annihilates all ideas of fate and destiny and predetermination and, well, any of those fantasies. Sorry, Kelly, that was a long-winded answer to what you asked me.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed you in Asheville.
Oh, never mind. Hopefully I'll come again next year.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, who's that? Ian?
It's Sky here.
No, Sky. Hi, Sky.
Oh, I haven't spoken with you in a while.
How are you?
Yeah, my question is, I'm getting ready to put a bullet in my head,
Now?
and I'm looking for a reason not to. I've been listening to Nonduality that says that it doesn't matter what you do, one way or the other. That's my question.
Sorry, that wasn't a question. That was a statement, Sky. I mean, are you asking me to? Firstly, are you saying you're suicidal?
Yeah, basically. Let's say I've lived 60 good years out of my life,
Yeah.
and another 20 is, facing downhill, basically. Why not? Why not move the process forward?
So your question is why not?
So my question is, what?
So your question is why not? Why not do it? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, it's sort of like looking forward to the next 20 years.
Yeah.
It looks kind of bleak.
Yeah. Ah, I can see how it could look bleak. Yeah. But the truth is, Sky, there's absolutely no knowing.
Exactly. And if there's no me, then just why not off it?
Well, you could say the answer to every question is why not? But then the answer is equally why. You know, you could say why not, and then you could say why. It's exactly the same. And my answer the answer to why not take your own life is because there's simply no knowing. I can see how you, like a lot of other people, imagine a bleak future, but there is no future, Sky.
Exactly. So that's my question.
But the thing is, there is no future, so it's not bleak.
Okay, it's not bleak, but it looks bleak.
Oh no, I totally get the feeling of bleakness, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, I recognize there's still a lot of life force here in the body.
Yeah.
Even though it's going through physical pain, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right now. So why why not accelerate the process? That's my question.
Well, I mean, Sky, you won't be accelerating any process. There's no process.
Exactly.
No.
Right. So it's sort of like a redundant question.
Well, it is kind of, yeah, because you asked me, you know, why not take my own life? And then I just say, well, why take your own life? It's the same question.
Exactly.
But
just,
I'm not,
doesn't, if it doesn't matter, how can it not matter?
True.
That's my question. And that's the big question in this philosophy of non-duality. It's like, if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
No. But you say about philosophy, I mean, I have no sense that this is philosophy at all, Sky. I mean, this isn't philosophical, what I'm speaking about. It doesn't feel like that anyway.
That would be a good question.
Yeah.
If it's not philosophy, what is it?
Yeah, I haven't got a good answer for that, though. It's a good question, but I haven't got a good answer.
Yeah, that's a big question.
And Sky, I mean, you're in good company asking these questions. Though I don't think there's anyone here probably this evening, and there aren't many people who haven't questioned, you know, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It's such a simple question.
I think it's the most natural thing for human beings to question. Yeah, especially if life is painful and the future looks bleak, then the question will arise.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't it? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my question. It's like, not that there has to be something done immediately, but why would I want to wait it out and see what happens? You know, you were in the same boat, Tim. So I think you're a good one to respond to this question.
Yeah.
And you waited it out, and look what happened to you. You know, you came up with something totally new that you never would have imagined.
True.
Perhaps.
You just don't know, Sky.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So
I mean, if I want to give you a reason why not, that would be it. There's simply no knowing.
Yeah. That's so the question right now that I'm struggling with is how long to wait this out? Waiting for enlightenment or whatever you call it to show up. Like, you know, like you did, basically. That's the question, is how long can you sit with this?
Yeah.
Is it another 20 years?
Well, I mean, really, Sky, there isn't another 20 years at all.
Yeah. But working at Kmart simply doesn't
But
cut
I
it.
do, but I really, I mean, I do really get the sense that when you feel that, oh, I've had enough, I do. And there won't be many here this evening who haven't felt that.
Yeah.
I've just had enough. Yeah. It's been tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another 20 years of this, what makes it worth it?
Yeah.
That's
And
my
of course
question.
the question comes, yeah, and the question arises, you know, what's making it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And people die in wars all the time, you know, of many things. So that's my question, is people just, people die, period.
Yeah.
So who's to say whether we live to 60 or 80? And the non-duality question is, well, if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
No, the only thing that matters is what you think matters, Guy.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's the question, is where do we go from here?
Well, I've got you a good reason why you need to not take your life, so you can come to the Zoom next week.
Yeah, and oh, well, that would be fun too.
Okay.
So the thing, that's the question, the big question. It's like, it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it may happen in the next month. Who knows?
No.
Right.
All right. Well, take care, Sky, and yeah, all the best.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Sky.
Ian has his hand up.
Ian, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
So I noticed that the philosophy seems to be there's no me, but there seems to be a lot of pushback.
Sorry, hold on.
I feel a lot.
Hold on a bit, Ian, because the sound's really, I don't know what it is about the sound, but I'm struggling to hear you.
Yeah, your audio is really broken up, Ian. It's
the audio is really
maybe if you get
broken.
a bit closer to the mic, maybe.
Hold on.
Try again, Ian.
Come on. I can just write it in the chat.
I'm struggling to get. I can't really hear you. I think there's something wrong with your microphone, Ian.
Yeah, I think the connection isn't too good either, Ian. You could always type if it's a question.
Yeah, type your question in, then I'll answer it. There's only why there's so much pushback. Not sure what pushback is, Ian, actually. Do you mean resistance? When you say pushback, Ian, do you mean resistance?
Yeah, he does.
I am resistance. I is resistance. I am this isn't how it should be. That's the pushback. So what I've called myself and the pushback, the resistance, is the same. I as self, the whole energy, the whole desire, the whole movement of self is towards something else. That in itself, you could say, is pushback, and that's what I am. That is the very nature of I. And of course, there's always resistance because I'm separate. I can only, it's absolutely innocent. I mean, this isn't saying that there's something wrong with me. It's saying just, all this is an attempt to do is say how it is being me. And of course, every me is unique, but the uniqueness was never mine. You know, it's me that claims the uniqueness as mine. That in itself, that's resistance, rather than just being the human being that the human being is. That in itself is pushback. So I'm not saying there isn't I mean, I use the word illusion. It's the wrong word, but this physically felt sense of being inside, of being separate. Is what I feel I am. It's like me, I am always trying to close the gap. There's always this distance between, but there is no gap to close. So it's never ending for me. Between me and you, between this and that, trying to become at one. Well, there isn't anything else to become at one with. Sorry, Ian, what did you say? I don't think I've ever had a conversation on it.
He says,
This is a new phenomenon.
Yeah, Ian says, I is a way of relating, but me is a problem. They are not the same. I is a way of relating, but me is a problem. They are not the same.
I mean, if that's how you see it, Ian, that's how you see it. But I use I and me exactly the same. The whole sense of being separate, individual. The feeling that I am, I'm running this shit show. And yeah, so I don't see the way of relating. No. What I is not a way of relating. I is the sense of I am relating to you, which is illusory. There's no one relating to anyone else. There is just seen relating. Oh, you said relative to whom as well, Ian? There's relative to no one. There's no one it's relative to. The illusion of relativity is the illusion, but that remains. You could say, so there's still me and you, but there's no me and you. You won't make sense of that. It doesn't make any sense, but it looks like you over there and me over here. But without the sense that I am over here and you're over there, there's just looks like me here and you there. And then it's no big deal. And really all I'm speaking about is the absence of trying to, or the non-appearance of trying to work that out to make sense of it.
Ian says there is a point of reference though, otherwise there is no illusion.
No, the illusion is the point of reference, Ian. Okay, I don't talk about a shift much, but if there is a shift, because the shift is only relative to what was remembered, then what's lost is the point. The point. I am the point, aren't I? I am the point around which all the universe revolves. Everything else is in circumference to me.
Ian says, who knows that?
I am the sun. Well, that's what's even, I mean, and it just is hugely laughable. The arrogance of self is fucking hilarious. That every human being has made themselves the center of the universe. It's really, I mean, it's beautifully sad, but hilarious in equal measure. There we are. Yeah, and you asked the question, who knows that? Well, that's the whole illusion. There must be someone who knows that, Ian. There can't just be knowing, surely. That can't be known. It has to belong. It has to belong to somebody. No, I didn't mean you, Maria. I wasn't aiming that at you personally, Ian. The arrogance thing. It's universal. So, no, it's just, yeah, of course. Honest inquiry. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm not saying anything wrong with the arrogance of self. Self can't help that. And one of the ironies, of course, I don't have any sense of arrogance, and yet I have that accusation leveled at me quite regularly. Oh, the arrogance of non-duality. But there we are.
So righteous, Tim.
So righteous. Who do you think you are? Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
David has his hand up. Have you finished, Ian? Oh.
Thanks, Ian. I wasn't for a moment calling you any more arrogant than anyone else. And there's nothing wrong with arrogance anyway. It appears that that can get you quite a long way in life.
Hello, Tim.
Thanks, Ian. Hello, David.
Hiya. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, good. Thank you.
I'm 70 tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, it just occurred. I'd almost forgotten. That's not why I'm tuning in.
happy birthday.
Thank you. Relates a wee bit actually to what the previous guy was saying, and I've kind of forgotten what I was going to say here, really. It was on the suicide front.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of stating the obvious, but it's something, I may have mentioned it before, a guy called Brian Sewell, who was this rather strange art critic. You might remember him with ridiculously posh accent.
Yes.
But he was actually a lot more endearing than he sold himself as, I think, Brian Sewell. I think he liked being disliked, actually. But I read something, he did his autobiography is incredible. His life was extraordinary. And there's a line in it where he says, who in their right mind has not considered suicide?
Yeah.
And that makes an awful lot of sense to me. And you know, I mean, you can extrapolate from that to, okay, how's this going to come out? What do you do with a racist thought? what do you do with a rapist thought? Slight concern these days in the relative sense is that you're not even allowed that, actually.
No.
And it's like a Jungian repression, actually.
Well,
And
thank God that, you know, the thought police haven't yet arrived that can monitor your thoughts. I mean, who knows? But
they kind of have, in a way, actually, this kind of cancelling thing, etc. I don't want to get into that, but the problem is, of course, that you think they're yours, and even, you know, and the suicidal thoughts and the rapist thought or the racist thought,
yeah.
but they're, in a way, they're entirely natural.
Yeah.
The silly thing to say, but okay, you don't have free will, but you might have free won't. I don't believe that, but it is one way of looking at it if you want, you know. But I just throw that into the mix, really, about, yeah, what do you do with these things and how natural it is. Acting them out is another thing. I mean, I don't quite know what to say about that, but the business of being terrified of them to the point of repression seems unhealthy, if that's not too dualistic a word to me, you know.
Well,
And just to reiterate, who in their right mind has not considered suicide? Of course you would.
Yeah.
Who hasn't? Who's going to admit it is another issue.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but everyone I know who's open enough and, you could say, courageous enough admits it. Yeah.
It is that, and that's courageous is the word. You know, better out than in, as it were, in a relative sense. As with the racist things, the rapist things, you know, better out than in.
Yeah.
But the notion of, and I think there is a kind of repression going on these days in that relative sense, which is not particularly healthy. And anyway, I wouldn't say any more than that. But
yeah, probably.
It just came around because of what the guy was saying, and you know, I'm dwelling on such things myself now. I'd say I'm 70, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
How much more of this do I want? You know.
Yeah. Well, you make the most of every day, especially tomorrow.
I will. Okay. Yeah. I'll be looking for the postal order in the anyway, nice to see you again, Tim.
And you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Leo, go ahead, Leo.
Hey,
Hi,
Tim. Hey. Let's get nobody put their hands up.
Have you seen Eligio's picture, everybody?
Yes. I've been showing it off everywhere. And
oh no,
and,
I know, I'm all for a bit of promotion. Yeah, you keep.
I was trying to get that halo that's following you to go on me.
It looks like my halo slipped on that one.
Yeah. Maybe it was me.
It was being next to you. That's what did it.
I just wanted to share something. I used to think when I started listening to these people like yourselves, I used to think that a bunch of British guys got together and put stuff out on the internet as a joke to see how many people would just keep pushing on this thing.
Yeah.
But then it's like, now it's like, oh shit, that joke's everywhere. And I guess that's what they mean by the cosmic joke.
I know, it's a tragedy, isn't it? That it's not just the British who've, you know, have cornered the market in non-duality. Yeah, there's idiots all over the world speaking this shit now.
Yes, correct. Thank you, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome. I love it that you think that we all got together in a room and conspired together
That would be a fantastic practical joke.
Well, you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it, that that did actually happen, and that it
You
is,
never know. You never know.
that it is all a joke.
I think
Yeah.
it's QAnon duality.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eligio, and thanks for it's a good photo. He said arrogantly.
Has anyone seen? Oh, I don't know whether they can see. I think most people have probably seen that photo, haven't they?
Yeah, I have put it on the internet because it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone. Yeah. There we go. It's a bit better.
So if you haven't seen it, when I was sitting in Asheville doing the meeting, Jim he was sitting in front of me, he took a photo of me, and the circle light reflected perfectly a halo. It's right above my head. And of course, who could not, it was impossible not to think it was a sign. Well, before I finish, if no one's got a question, if anyone's got a last question, by all means do ask me, but I'll give a plug. I'm in London in 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks on Saturday, on the 19th of November in Hampstead. So if you fancy a trip to London, that'd be great. Just for the afternoon. And in the pub after.
It was great to see you in Nashville, though, Tim.
Oh, it was great to see you, Tej.
And the dinner and the pubs and everything.
Well, I know we had a great time. Yeah, it was lovely. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. I'll try to be a little bit more careful and conscientious about posting next Thursday's meeting, and get it as accurately as I can. If you're in America, don't forget, it won't be at this time for you. It'll be the normal 5 hours difference for Eastern and 7 for Pacific time. Yes.
8 for Pacific time.
8
8 hours.
Oh, thanks, Nancy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 7 now, but next week it'll be 8. Yes.
Okay. I stand corrected again.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there'll be a meeting next week. Yeah, and the week after probably. But if you would like to be emailed the link direct, you want that, then just email me at clisstim@gmail.com and I'll put you on the mailing list so you get the link straight to you. Then you don't have to go trawling through Facebook or whatever. But it's
Thank you so much.
But it's on the website as well. Oh, and some exciting news. Hopefully in not too long, in a month or so, I should have a second book out of poetry. I'm a poet. Pam will be so proud. Mum would love it that I'm a poet. Yeah, it's a poetry book. So I'm a poet, aren't I? So now if anyone asks me, you can stick your non-duality speaker up your ass And I shall answer author and poet. What do you do now, Tim? Author and poet. Thank you. Not complete waster who does very little apart from play golf.
And a saint.
Sounds better.
And saint. Who said that?
It's what?
Someone said and saint.
Author, poet, and saint. Okay. Well, thanks very much for coming, all of you. It's always a pleasure for me doing this. That's why I do it. If I didn't like doing it, I wouldn't do it. So thanks for coming, and hopefully see some of you next week. Happy birthday again, David, for tomorrow. I shall have a drink in honor very shortly. Right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks. Thanks,
Cheers,
Tim.
Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tim.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
See you
Thank
down
you.
there. Thanks, Darren.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Tim.
Tim.
Thanks, David.